And we're live. Hello and welcome to the 225th episode of HEX Therapy Live. I'm your host, Maddie Allen, and I've got a great show for you tonight. Last night, we did a 5-hour Twitter Spaces. We had superstar speakers like your friend Sami came and talked for like 3.5 hours, something like that. So I've uploaded that onto YouTube. You could check that out. But today I'm just going to give you some of my thoughts that have come from that 5-hour discussion. So I just put this up on Twitter just seconds ago. I said, based on my 5-hour X spaces yesterday about pDAI, I can say with low to medium confidence, yeah, I'm not an expert in maker contracts. It sounds like some of the people who were mega millionaires in pDAI also didn't know how the maker contracts worked, but like, here you go. So I'm only giving this low to medium confidence, but people talk about this inflation bug, so to speak, or, kind of how the system is designed to work, where pDAI continues to be minted. And I think that happens until the price of PLS stops falling, which is kind of interesting because we're at like all-time lows. So if like the reflexivity of everything kicks in, you could see much lower prices for Pulse. But that's what I want to address in today's HEX Therapy Live, because basically it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where if the chain is in a minor death spiral, that could happen until confidence is restored or the LP and buying runs out between pDAI and PLS and any tickers. This should say related to, either PLS or pDAI. The obvious one is you have to remove liquidity between everything and pDAI. But the non-obvious thing is that like, if the market's going to keep deciding and if people are going to keep buying pDAI, like $1.5 million went into pDAI in volume today. So I guess maybe half of that is buying and half of that is selling or whatever. But like, I think it's also extremely interesting that you would also stop the bleed if you cut off the liquidity to things that are paired with Pulse, because the price of PLS is part of what's causing the inflation bug. So if I have that assumption correct, which people can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what this would mean, is that it's kind of a bigger liquidity problem than you might initially imagine. Imagine buying pDAI instead of HEX. Yeah, that would have been great for a lot of people. So, but sometimes you have to update your worldview. And hey, I felt like the feedback I got from yesterday's Twitter Spaces that I hosted is that people had not seen a pDAI conversation that was so respectful and thoughtful and wasn't telling you what to do with your money. It was just like, talking about the game theory, talking about the mechanics, talking about the social psychology and everything like that. So, yeah, I'm not here for the negativity, and I'm not here to tell you whether to buy or sell or do what, but I am particularly here to like help people understand how their decisions are going to affect their own bags and other people's bags. So I said, this is good news for people who want to buy low prices and shouldn't stop PLS from going to 3 cents, which is my prediction for next year, which is a 1000x plus some change from here. And that would be caused by the first ETH shark to buy in for about $330 million. Now, if the price of PLS keeps falling, it's not going to take a whole ETH shark. You're going to be able to start getting your 1000x with like a couple fat dolphins. But so my guess though about all of this, the price being low, the price being able to go 1000x higher, the pDAI stuff, everything, the free market will fix this. Of that, I'm sure. But you're part of the market, so whatever you decide also matters. The last thing I would want to do now is sell core tickers, because this isn't just a regular sell-off. This is like a reflexive thing that's happening because of like a minting spiral, basically. And so like the prices that you're seeing are not going to be what you're really getting. And that's part of having low liquidity anyway. So like by the time, and you know, maybe it would be right for somebody to sell and then want to buy back later, or like never enter crypto again or something. Like, I'm not telling you what you should be doing. I'm saying the last thing I would want to do. And that means like me, and that's somebody who's not you. So you have to make your own decisions, and what's right for me might not be right for you. But I don't want to sell any core tickers right now. If anything, I want to sell stuff and buy more. This is more of an opportunity than a crisis, in my opinion, because I'm so confident about how high PulseChain can go. And I always know it'll go higher than you think it can, and it'll go lower than you think it can. But someday it will bottom, as it has before. Important to know, if you sell PLS, you're causing it to spiral down further, because you're opening up the window for the pDAI exploiter to keep minting more and more pDAI. If I'm right about the lower the price of PLS goes, the more pDAI can get printed. But also for regular reflexivity reasons. If you sell at an all-time low, like, you're helping to cause other people to sell at all-time lows too. So just keep that in mind. Important to know, if you buy the blood in PLS, you're fixing the problem as much as you can, if you're not like a liquidity provider for pDAI and that sort of thing, because maybe that is going to stop the minting bug from working as much. So if you buy the blood in PLS, you're fixing the problem. Be kind to others during difficult times. Not everybody is happy when prices are low. Some people are, though. I'm not feeling too bad about all this, but I easily could be. And I respect other people who are tripping and they can't see what I see and they're scared and they're consumed by fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So just be kind to others during difficult times, and that'll make you feel better about yourself, at least, even if you can't feel better about the prices. And all in all, having the attitude of welcome to PulseChain, we love you, that's a way better marketing pitch, and that's a way better community that people want to participate in. So don't sell yourself short there. And I think you have something that's valuable if you're holding PLS, and that's what I'm holding. And I like PulseX and of course HEX and Ink. I like Ink a little bit. What's up, Centurion, Trevor Hansen? What is going on? What's up, Tam Tam? So, like I said, we talked for 5 hours yesterday. We talked about all the things that are happening. I think if you didn't check that out, you can go listen to that like insane Twitter Spaces. But today things are more chill. I'm paying attention to the rest of crypto as well. You know, first time a sitting president addresses a crypto conference, and it was a big nothing burger, but hey, there's still people out there that are positive and love crypto and see how important it is, you know, because of the Canadian truckers and, you know, when Robinhood took away the buy button and all that good kind of stuff. So I made a joke here. Not sure if people are gonna like the joke, but PulseChain is up 27% today. Oh wait, that's the JPEG version from Pump.Tires. That's 10x higher in price. Today seems like a good day to buy the real PLS, not financial advice. Oh yeah, and then the SEC confirms that Bitcoin and proof of work mining are not securities. So I made the little Star Wars meme. SEC, BTC mining is math? Or it's not as a question. They said that. And then she says, Hex mining too, right? And he just looks at her and she's like, right? But we'll see. And then the SEC was meeting today privately. They might have discussed Richard Hart's thing. I saw Nuclear Herbs on What the HEX show earlier today. And even though Peter was being disrespectful, he was still telling it like it is, I guess. But Nuclear Herbs got on there for a little bit in the middle of the episode, and he was bringing up his theory that like the SEC might have had to ask for an extension because they didn't even have enough time in the first 20 days to go to their like advisory council committee to vote on whether they should try to amend their complaint or not. So like that's some cool copium. But people were making noise out here for the SEC to throw out their case with HEX and not amend, because they could come out and say that at any time. You know, they could say that tomorrow if they wanted to. Not saying that they will. I'm just saying that they could. We could have our second little SEC victory as soon as tomorrow, or as late as never, or like a month from now. But 4/21, that's the date that that the judge has to get their amended complaint by. So whatever's going on with pDAI, we already talked about that. I said I think PulseChain will be fine. Everybody will get the price that they deserve. Johnny Chaos left Twitter. We need him back. We miss him. We love him. I think he needed a break, so that's okay. Taking mental health breaks is fine, and nobody's forcing anybody to be here, but you know, he's our friend and we miss him. Let's see. Yep, had a big Twitter Spaces. You can listen to it on Twitter or you can listen to it on YouTube because I uploaded it here. That wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to screen record a 5-hour video and then convert it and upload it and make sure you had all the little video thumbnails to see like who was speaking when. Because that's how they get you when they say you can use one of these services to download. Well, I don't know who the speakers are, so I don't know who's talking. So that's a pretty lame like YouTube upload. So I gave you guys the premium shit. I had to bust out my old iPhone that isn't full of DEI fucking software code bugs, so I could actually do a proper screen recording. Because of course now when you buy new tech, it is worse than the old tech somehow. But we had 10,000 people who tuned into that Twitter Spaces. That's pretty crazy. I did a vote and it said pDAI 2, the $1, $0 or other. And I can really learn a lot about the psychology of how the market is feeling, because people will like yell at me for asking a question. and they're just like projecting so hard that I'm telling people to do something when it's literally a questionnaire. Like it's it's not even like it's not even a leading question. But there were people who just were so upset, like you're such a failure for asking this question, and like I'm like, what? There were 1,500 people who wanted to answer this out of like 6,000 people that saw it. That's like an incredible response ratio. That's like 5x higher engagement. That question is 5 times more important than anything anybody is reading that even motivates them to engage with. Like, this is an incredibly important question at this time. And 60% of people said still pDAI $2. And that was about 24 hours ago. Maybe 24 to 28 hours ago. So that's nuts. And then I said, I gave you like a nice medley of different like news of the day takes. Like, you know, I said things that are pro pDAI. I said things that are anti pDAI, and like, you're the one who decides. Oh, that Mr. Beast post is not like part of it, but I thought that RH was saying he's not behind pDAI, but apparently that's a hot debate. But like, I wouldn't have known that other people's reaction was different than mine if I wasn't out there listening and recording my own takes and all that stuff. But I think that the video where Ivan was like cringing and inaccurately making it sound like everybody on PulseChain like is part of the pDAI narrative. No, like, I'm proud of the people who are in PulseChain because of the pDAI narrative. I'm proud of people who are against it. Like, it's okay to have a diversity of opinion. It's okay to believe one thing and then change your mind, or you get new information, right? Like, that's part of intelligent discourse and intellectual honesty, is when you tell the truth that you're not always right if you're always showing up and putting your voice out there. So my most popular tweet of all time used to be my tweet that said, only a real man can admit when they're wrong, and I was wrong about pDAI and repped BTC. But the haters who are just projecting and confused, they're going to say that I'm flip-flopping back and forth. I'm reporting the news. I'm telling you how it could be. I'm relaying my honest running understanding of all this. Like, you know, it can be valid that somebody says that they believe in pDAI because Richard is behind it, or not. Because when people make stablecoins, they end up dead. Like the creator of DAI, who was murdered and found on a beach. So it's okay. We respect privacy. Like Richard said, it's stupid if you pretend like he's behind something, you know, or secretly supporting something. Like it doesn't matter. Like the market's going to decide either way. It's like Sami was saying in the spaces. He said, you're never going to have 100% transparency and low prices. Now, just because we don't know, or we don't want to know if Richard is behind it, or like we don't care because it's a cool narrative either way, or we just want to like see what the tech is and not be counting on a middleman to like help us out with anything, you know, like there's all these things, right, that you could say to be for or against pDAI. But I think the inflation bug, I think that's a separate argument still. And so I can see people who like don't agree on like one level of like the several levels of the conversation that you have to get to before you can say like, well, is pDAI a good buy right now? I'm not trying to answer that question. You know, like that's not as relevant to me, because Yeah, because I missed out on pDAI, and you know other people got rich from it, and it's fine. Like no hate. I'm critically interested in what it is that got so many people so fired up about a narrative in crypto. That's special. So pDAI is special. A lot of people don't understand it. That doesn't mean that it's not going to keep crashing the prices into like a death spiral, right? Like that doesn't mean that there's not a problem, because it could be that pDAI was perfectly set up as long as you didn't go to new all-time lows in Pulse, but the pDAI price didn't fall along with it. So that's the situation we've got right now. Like pDAI is incredibly strong. pDAI has really strong buyers, and like as I pointed out in my first tweet, like that could be a serious problem all of a sudden if belief in pDAI causes people to keep buying it. And so the price of pDAI doesn't go down as fast as the price of PLS, because whoever is minting more pDAI, because the price of PLS is falling, is then bridging money out and, you know, causing the price of PLS to fall, which like allows you to mint more pDAI, you know, so on and so forth. So, yeah, so I don't care if RH is behind pDAI or not. Like, I think we should assess it based on its merits. And like, it's fun to speculate, but if somebody's telling you like stop speculating on whether I'm behind something, then maybe you could respect it for his own safety. But you don't have to. Then I made a kind of a mocking post where I said RH is behind the cool breeze on a warm day. RH is behind creating the Bitcoin top. RH is behind your only hope for financial freedom, Anon. Just not pDAI? Space question mark. See, it's extra dramatic when you put the space and the question mark instead of just a question mark. So that's enough for your English lesson for today. Yeah, so that was spicy. Let's see how many views. This had 400,000 views. That's crazy. I wonder how that compares to like the SEC. Where we beat the SEC. Hold on. Hold on. Because I want you to appreciate how important the pDAI narrative is before we can like say whether we need to fix this infinite minting bug. Okay, gosh, how long has it been since we beat the SEC? Wasn't it like on the first? PulseChain just won big in court. Okay, that's only 213,000 impressions. HEX re-enabled on Uniswap 146. I won in court. Everyone else not so much. 212,000. $163,000 for the federal judge dismissed the case against me. I appreciate Judge Aman's careful ruling, which has dismissed all of the SEC claims against me, 316,000. Yeah. Okay. So Hex and Richard beating the SEC in court that we've been waiting for 3 years, 2.5 years, 2 years and a third of a year. 316,000. 316,000. And not behind pDAI. 398,000. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. That's nuts, people. I just, wow. Yep. Okay. So Richard Hart hinting that he's not behind pDAI is bigger news than beating the SEC after 2.5 years. Wrap your head around that one, folks. Now that's some crypto psychology right there. Boom. Mic drop. Yeah, we love Johnny Chaos. We got his brother in the chat here. Tell Johnny we love him. So I want all of you maxis to appreciate how important the pDAI narrative was to your success in PulseChain so far. You might see it as, oh, it's a distraction. Oh, I didn't get the X's that I wanted or whatever. But like, I just showed you on Twitter literally what the algorithm that like defines our financial existence, like what it thinks. And it thinks that pDAI is important. And so we need to remember that and be kind to those who bring attention to PulseChain and participate in PulseChain. We don't need to go losing 5,000 of our 10,000 daily active users over some arguments and stuff. Like, which is why I have taken the approach, even though I'm not a bag holder in pDAI, like that's why I did a 5-hour Twitter Spaces yesterday. It's like, I want to be welcoming. I want to understand it. I think it's an important topic. So I think people are going to keep effing around until they find out on the whole pDAI thing. But I hope that this kind of gives you some important context and some crypto therapy type of stuff, type of commentary of what is up. I think that anything's possible. You could wake up one day and pDAI could be $1 and Pulse could be $1 too. But I don't know that it's more likely since the past week of events where the price of PulseChain. I think if you want pDAI to do well, you really want the price of Pulse to go up right now. So if you're not buying Pulse in the same quantity that you're buying pDAI and the same ratio and everything, then that could be a problem, because that could be part of what is causing the infinite minting bug in pDAI and the spiral that I talked about. So these are just my observations. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm here for. There you go, folks. So hope this was helpful. I know I got a lot of good feedback on the stream from yesterday. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to be onboarding one of my friends tonight who probably doesn't have a whole lot of money, but works really hard for their money. And, I think that they deserve to buy these lows. And so I'm going to personally onboard them into PulseChain tonight, because, now's an all-time low. So yeah, with that being said, yeah, go ahead and check out all the other streams we've been doing, and yeah, keep taking care of yourself. Be kind to others on the internet. Until next time, stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.
from Maddie Allen of Hex Therapy Live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research.
Big videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being can do better than trying to heal his fellow man.
Maddie Allen's got that covered. Does emotional, feel good, mind management, emotion stuff like as his gig because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like he helps heal people.
Oh, hey, I almost forgot. There's one more thing. Okay, one more thing. I'm having a meetup, so check out the details there on my Eventbrite. It's gonna be going on this Saturday in Austin, Texas. So there you go. Hopefully that's hopefully we'll have a good turnout there. The guy who invented the Bitcoin logo will be there. And yeah, it should be a great time. So go ahead and look up the details for that on my Twitter or on my Eventbrite. All right. Peace out.